So this was just 1 out of 1,000 water bottles that were opened just that second. And by the time I'm done with this speech, 360,000 more plastic bottles will be opened. Today, I want to talk about the single-use plastic water bottle and how it harms our environment. And more specifically, I want to convince the class to stop buying single-use plastic bottles. Today, I'm going to talk about how big of a problem the plastic bottles are. I'm going to talk to you about an idea to solve this issue. I'm going to list some examples of how this has worked. And then I'll finally conclude with what can we do as a class. Did you know that 60% of America chose a plastic water bottle as their beverage of choice? But what's the problem? Bottles are found everywhere. They're found in our landfills, they're found in our oceans, they're found on our streets, even on our campuses. Plastic causes harm from the second it gets produced to the second starts degrading. They require fossil fuels, which causes air pollutions, and they end up in fish's stomachs or even our stomachs. And according to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, 14 million tons of plastic are put into our oceans every year. And plastic bottles are a big contributor to that. So now that the problem is clear, what about a solution? What we need to do and what people need to do is start investing into reusable bottles, such as a Stanley. And according to the National Resources Defense Council, tap water in most cases is a safe alternative to plastic bottles. But according to my own plastic water bottles prevents millions of people from relying on sugary drinks such as Coca-Cola, Pepsi products, for relying on refreshments. But that may be true. Tap water is a good solution to that. Plastic water bottles, companies market tap water look gross and dirty and not good for you, when in reality, it's quite the opposite. According to the NRDC, tap water in cities is tested 100 times more often than plastic water bottle companies for harmful chemicals. And another addition to that is you're going to find a lot less microplastics in your tap water. According to Healthline, there's a study done in 2018 with 11 different water bottle brands and thus 293 separate water bottles. Out of those 293 water bottles, 93% of those had microplastics in them. But what else is there? Plastic bottles are cheaper than reusable water bottles. Reusable water bottles can cost up to $30, while you can find a 32-pack of Dasani about this size at your local Walmart for $7. You can also go for more expensive and luxury brands such as Fiji, which a single-use 1 liter bottle for about $2.68. While that is true, plastic water bottles are multiple-time purchases, while a reusable water bottle is a one-time purchase, and you last forever if you keep it clean. And also, according to United States Now, tap water costs 0.01 cents for every 5 gallons, or 20 liters. Which it's not even a penny. And to tip the scale, according to the EPA, only 8% of plastic gets recycled. Why this is contamination is a big problem. Any biodegradable substance that gets onto our plastics has to get removed. So large patches of plastics get removed out of the recycling and they find their way into our landfills or oceans. So with us using reusable water bottles, that is less plastic bottles in our landfills, in our streets, in our oceans. So now that I've talked about some solutions and some oppositions, what are some examples of banning plastic bottles that have worked? Washington University was the first university in the United States to ban plastic bottles, all campus-wide, in 2009. And according to Cassandra Hage, who wrote a blurb in the Washington website, Washington University saves 567,000 plastic bottles annually. And along with that stat, sugary drinks also dropped in sale as well, which tells us that people were not relying on sugary drinks for refreshments instead of water. Another really cool system that I think is really neat is in Germany, and it's called the font system. It is installed in 2003, and it's basically a reward system. So what happens is plastic bottles get one of these 4 symbols, I guess, on them, and those bottles get taxed a small amount. I know that Coca-Cola bottles get taxed a quarter, And so what you can do is you get you recycle it into a machine and you get that 25 cents back. So with that been going on since 2003, according to Philip Otterman, who wrote a blurb in The Guardian, only 3% of non-reusable bottles are not returned. So that's a huge success for Germany. And then another, in our own states, is Hawaii. Hawaii is set out to ban plastic bottles by 2024. What their goal is and their idea is they're going to ban plastic bottles that are smaller than 2 liters, unless it's an emergency such as a big storm. They're doing this because plastic bags were such a successful ban on their island, and it's safer for their environment in total. So now that we've talked about some examples, what about us? What can we do as a class? Well, obviously we can't all just write a bill and ban plastic bottles, period. We have to start out smaller. What we should do is invest in reusable water bottles such as Awalas, Stanleys, Yeti, Hydro Flasks. There's plenty, and you can even find cheaper options out there at your local stores. And water fountains are all over campus. You can find them in every building to reuse your water bottle. And if you're worried about filters not working, some water bottles come with built-in filters. Plastic pollution is killing our planet, and we have to do something about it. And we might as well start with our plastic bottles. Thank you.